Good evening and welcome to these amazing awards. I'm so pleased and honored to be with you tonight presenting the most disruptive woman in tech award. In an industry that exists to disrupt, that is known to other industry as a disruptor, why would we need to celebrate women who follow a similar practice? Because even in a culture built around disruption, this can be exclusive. This is what we've seen from the tech industry, with only 18% of professionals working in the tech industry being women, unless in technical roles. And it is still a very bold act to be a woman in tech, innovating and succeeding. And so tonight, we want to celebrate those women who embody the culture of tech in order to change the status quo and make the world a better place. Over to you, Antonio.
It's an honor to be here. I'm happy to announce the Most Disruptive Woman in Tech Award nominees. Starting with Dr. Adriana Marais, founder of Proudly Women. Amparo Narvarte Garcia, founder of B89 at Kulki. Kira Harinsky, chairwoman and CEO of Diagnostic Robotics. Liana Melikskian, chief operating officer at Still4 Company. And Dr. Nadine Aran, founder and CEO of Proximy. And the winner is Kira Redinsky, chairwoman and CTO of Diagnostic Robotics. So congratulations to Kira and to everyone that was nominated for this category.
Oh, thank you. That's so exciting. I'm blushing here. I think the most important thing is not about thinking what the prize is doing to me, and it's what it's doing to this 4-year-old girl or 12-year-old girl that wants to be a scientist, that needs more role models. And I think this is the point of everything that you've done here so far, is creating more and more role models, young entrepreneurs that are bringing value to the community, to healthcare, to the world, making decision making so much better. And I'm honored that you've selected me to be one of those role models, but I actually want to stress even more. I dedicate this award to all of those other children that want to be the scientists, entrepreneurs, have big dreams, and don't be afraid to move them. Don't be afraid to make them happen. Eventually, the world is at your hands after we're going to start building it to be a better place. Thank you so much. There's a very nice phrase that says that being an entrepreneur is like jumping off a cliff and building the parachute while you're falling. And I think many are afraid just to take this extra step off the cliff, doing something that looks risky. What I taught myself, and again, this is not easy, is just take the first step. Don't think about this. While you're falling, somehow you'll find a way to build this parachute. Many are just not taking this step. The second advice I wanted to give is about not being afraid to fail. There's a very nice phrase by Thomas Edison saying that he didn't fail, he just discovered 10,000 ways that do not work. So look at each one of your failures as a discovery phase to where you want to go. Imagine how success is going to look like. You do not be afraid to take the extra steps to get there. I grew up with only women in my family. My mom and my aunt are refugees from USSR who left when I was very young to Israel. Since I can remember myself, since the age of 5, I always wanted to be a scientist. This is why when I was 15, I started my PhD in machine learning and data mining in the Technion. Most of my work involved how can we take everything humanity wrote since 1851 till today and build machine learning models that can read all of those news articles, all of these encyclopedias, even social media, identify patterns in history, and try to predict future events. I worked a few years in Microsoft research, collaborated with the Gates Foundation, and we predicted the first cholera outbreak in Cuba in 130 years. We then had a work with collaboration with the UN and predicted the Sudan riots in 2013. I then decided that I actually want to leverage all of this technology I've been working on and bring it into the real world. And I started a company with a co-founder named SalesPredict, who was trying to predict future economic events. We work with large and small enterprises, predicting their interactions with other companies. The company was acquired by eBay, and I've been eBay chief scientist from Israel and their director of data science globally. For many years, we've been thinking about how can we optimize commercial applications. I then went back to the university as a visiting professor, and I decided to dedicate my life to make healthcare better, cheaper, and to make it a real democracy, right? It is not fair that some have the best healthcare and some have worst. And it really much depends on whether you're rural, your gender. And I actually wanted to get all of this data that we accumulated in humanity about healthcare and just give it to the society. So in diagnostic robotics, I confronted this with Professor Moshe Shom and Yonatan Amir. We're building a system that looks at tens of millions of historical medical records, billions of claims, reads all of those, and builds an automated clinical triage system that is capable of automating many processes inside emergency departments and primary care, and eventually reducing the waiting times in emergency departments from the 3.6 hours there are today to less than 2. Think about this. In less than 10 years, 3.8 billion people will not have access to primary care. Eventually, this is not a scalable business to have more and more doctors. And this is where I'm so excited to bring those AI technologies to start automating and scaling healthcare for the world.